Hey guys, what's up? It's Jonathan with One Big Impact. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I wanted to come to you today to talk about something that I feel is actually really important. I told you guys a while ago that I was going to go through a series of videos, and I was going to call them something. I'm not going to call them that due to who that may. Regardless, I want to talk about relationships, and the main reason I want to talk about relationships is because in my own personal life, I've had many unsuccessful relationships. I don't like to talk about that or whatever, but let's be completely honest, it's the truth. And a lot of us have. A lot of us, if you're single or in a situation where maybe you found yourself in a lot of bad relationships. Okay, so first of all, do not blame yourself, okay? A lot of this is a test to be able to mold yourself into a different type of person. The type of person that you seek. We usually mirror and find somebody that has the same qualities and values that we admire or that we value. So that being said, a lot of the times right off the bat, if you jump into something too fast, it may be too late to realize that, hey, I probably should have thought this through a little bit further, or whatever it is. Now, first I want to talk about the most important things when you're getting into a relationship. And you're probably thinking right now, well, John, you haven't had a successful relationship. Okay, so I've had successful relationships, but I'm also an expert on how relationships fail. Okay, let's just be completely honest. I'm sorry about the weird camera angle. I'm actually walking on the treadmill. And you're kind of down there, so I'd probably look funky. If I was like down there, it would look better. Anyway. So red flags are the type of things that you need to pay attention for first and foremost when getting into a new relationship. Obviously, if it's a relationship that you've been in, yes, you should pay attention to those things as well. But specifically in the beginning of a relationship, it's important that you pay attention to those red flags. And what red flags are, obviously, if you're dating and stuff like that, or you go out on a date, you obviously are pretty good at detecting red flags while dating. But a lot of the times, once you get past the dating portion and you actually become in a relationship with somebody, sometimes you are swayed by your mind and your heart, and you're not paying attention to those red flags. I gotta turn my alarm off 1 second. Just to show you what my alarm is for, it's because in the morning I read, I got more books here, I read 10 minutes per book, and then I reflect or whatever for the same about 10 minutes. So I'm trying to do about 2 hours of reading and reflection each morning. So red flags could be, and I'm not necessarily saying these are my red flags, but I'm just saying these are some that I've seen, these are some that I've experienced. Anger, aggression. If you're not a naturally aggressive person and the person that you're dating is, say they have violent outbursts or something like that, if they are crappy towards your children. And that's kind of a weird thing, because getting into a relationship when somebody else has other children from another person can be a very difficult thing. Blending a family can be one of the most difficult things that you'll ever encounter. And trust me, I know from experience. And the love you have for your child will be different than the love you have for somebody else's child. Could you father or mother that child and love them unconditionally? Of course. But it will be different. That's undisputable. It's a different type of love. The baby didn't come out of you. So it is definitely a different type of thing. And I don't want to say that to stir up any problems or anything. I'm not saying you don't love that child. It's not. This is not a talk about that. You can love that child insanely as much. But it is a different type of love. That's just like loving your kids, loving your partner. Two totally different types of love. So more red flags could be the person trying to put you in a situation that could cause you to fail. Another red flag could be, now some things I learned from my relationships recently were, when I was married, I did not do everything I should have been doing. You know, I didn't take out the garbage, and I didn't do dishes, and I didn't help with the laundry. I just didn't do my part, okay, overall. And what that did was, that should be a red flag to, well, my ex-wife, and I'm sure it was, that if somebody is putting all of the responsibilities on one half of the relationship, meaning one person, it's important that you understand that that is not a sustainable thing, and that should be a major red flag if somebody's putting all of it on you. Even if you're the person that's putting it all on that person, you should also know that, hey, this person is taking too much on. This is a red flag. I'm taking advantage of this person, or this person's taking advantage of me, or whatever have you. And the only reason I realized that I was the person taking advantage of her was because my next relationship, I got with somebody, and we worked together a few years, and they did exactly that to me. So red flags are going to come in every shape and form. Some other ones could be simple things. Somebody telling you, you know, what to wear, or that you can't have friends. And let me be specific and clear about this. If you are okay with that type of thing, then it's not a red flag, okay? But if you're a very friendly, outgoing person, and you have tons of friends, and you're getting with a guy or a girl that is not that way, and they don't see that as an acceptable practice, as far as, hey, I want to go out with the bros, see you later. And like, if your chick isn't okay with that, then that's a red flag for her, or it's a red flag for him, depending on which way you look at it. So red flags are obviously determined, you know, per relationship status, because one set of couple may be perfectly acceptable with that. They would say, hey, I was really a super social person, but now, you know, you fill the void and I just need you. And that's not a red flag if the two perfectly agree with it. But if you're seeing you're butting heads on the thing, then it's definitely could be an issue. You know, I think two super social people should be together, and two super not social people should be together. It just makes more sense. And if it's vice versa or whatever, it could be a major red flag, because that could cause huge problems. Same with family orientation. If the person has problems with you going to see your family all the time, and you are a very family-oriented person, that's going to cause a huge problem in the relationship. And if that happens right in the beginning, get out. Listen to these red flags. These red flags are also called your freaking instincts, okay? Your gut feeling about the situation. If you feel whatever the situation that you are in is telling you, hey, you gotta go, then do what your mind and your body and your heart is telling you. Get out. Because a lot of the times we feel feelings of worthlessness. The longer the relationship goes, if you're being mentally, verbally, emotionally, physically abused, you start to think that that is what love is. Especially if you had a childhood with that type of practice, and then you go off into adulthood and you find somebody, and sometimes even if it's really bad, you could find them right away, in your early adulthood, and you stay with them for a really long time. So if you do that, you can find yourself mentally believing, coping, and accepting this type of practice. Now, obviously, if you're that far into it, you may not be here trying to figure out, about relationships, because you just don't see it. So, what I'm saying is, when you do see it, when you do feel something's off, do yourself a huge favor, save yourself years of pain and anguish, and get out. Red flags are literally the most important thing that you can listen to in your mind and in your life. They keep us out of trouble, They really do. If you're driving down the street and your mind tells you, don't speed, even though somebody pissed you off, it's probably because there's a cop right around the corner. Or it could be a huge problem. So definitely listen to your instincts no matter what. It's important that you realize a relationship gone bad is not, does not, has not, will not ever mean that you're a bad person. Unless obviously you did something really horrible and mean to somebody. Usually what a relationship gone sour means is that it wasn't for you, or it wasn't for them, or whatever. There's no reason to get crappy. There's no reason to cheat on the person or do vindictive things against them or whatever. Hey, if a relationship ends, just walk away. It's fine. That's like I say, the one thing I've always lived by is if someone loves you, they'll come back. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. If you love something a lot, you let it go, and if it returns, it loves you too. You don't bug it, you just let it be free. We are humans, and we have hearts and minds of our own, and we have to let people do their own thing. But not to get off track, what I'm saying about as far as relationships is concerned in the aspect of learning. And that might sound crazy. Maybe we don't want to learn through traumatic experiences or relationship failures or whatever. But a lot of the times, if you let go of the pain of the relationship, say you did something really bad or the relationship ended really horribly, you have to remember that is an ability, that is giving you the ability to be able to grow through that experience. Not only do you know now what to look for in a future relationship, but you also know what you're not interested in, okay? You also know that, hey, that relationship had this, and this wrong, and I don't really want that type of thing in my life. I'm gonna be single for a little while. I'm gonna work on myself. Maybe I'm gonna do some self-help books. Maybe I'm gonna just do some me time. I'm gonna exercise. I'm gonna feel good about myself. I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. I'm gonna do whatever, but I'm gonna do me for a little while because that relationship was not nurturing me. You're not only going to know, a better idea of what you're looking for in the future, but also what you're not looking for, and that's the most important thing. You can also grow through understanding, hey, I know what I wasn't looking for, but even more importantly, now that I know what I wasn't looking for, what am I actually looking for? And I'll tell you what, a lot of the times, your expectations may be way, way up here. And sometimes that might be too high, but that's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. If you expect somebody to be on this level and they're down here and you're not happy, then it's best, at the very least, that you be on your own. For now. Until, and I don't ever want you to lower your expectations. I don't ever want you to accept less than what you think you're worth, because then your self-worth goes down and you feel just an overall sense that you are less than what you actually are. So each time you have a failed relationship, you may think, man, this is horrible. I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. You know, I'm such a bad person. I can't feel better about my life because I just keep failing. I just keep failing. Don't think of it like that. It really is a process for you to grow. It's just like if you were to lose your job, and you sit back and you're like, why am I losing my jobs? Why am I having failed relationships? It's because you need to figure out, maybe you need more personal growth. Maybe what you're looking for is not in your general circle and not in your circle. Maybe what you're looking for, you know, if you're a super active person and you're hanging out with drug addicts or alcoholics, maybe you need to start hanging out with super active people. I know that transition can be quite strange sometimes, but that may be exactly what you need to do. And I'm not saying go get active just because you want to find somebody that's active. What I'm saying is, and a lot of the times when you transition into a different type of lifestyle, say you were a drug addict or an alcoholic and now you're super active. Now, a lot of the times you have maybe spent decades or years or half a lifetime being around a certain type of people, and that's what your comfort zone is. And then, you know, going into a different type of crew or whatever, is the transition can be really hard. But if you take little baby steps or whatever, it can be easier. And then maybe someday you'll find somebody with the same types of values, the same types of morals, the same types of beliefs. It's like eHarmony, and I'm not plugging their site, but eHarmony compared to like you know, another dating site, like a free dating site or whatever. You pay on eHarmony, but they use like 101 techniques of compatibility versus the other one. Now, eHarmony has a much larger success rate than some of those other free apps. And the reason for that is because the things that you have in common are more important. The things that you have in common, the beliefs you have, the triggers you have are extremely important. And the more you can match those, the better off your success rate is going to be, rather than just going, hey, she's hot, oh my gosh, he looks good, or whatever. So you have to remember that. Looks are one thing, morals and values are completely different. You may be surprised a lot of the times who you would be matched with for a long-term relationship rather than just immediately attracted to. That's why they say friends first, companions later. And the reason they say that is because if you're close friends and you have a building friendship, a lot of the times over the years, a lot of the times that's the type of thing that could last because you've already been that way. Now I know you're probably like, no, I friend zone that person. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying in general, a lot of the times you may realize that you've been friends with somebody for years and then you end up in a happy relationship and could be together for life because it's just naturally that way. Yes, maybe you don't have the fire and the passion that you were looking for, but the fire and the passion over the course of a lifetime is a hell of a lot more strong than a one-night thing. So first of all, I want you guys to get from this video to pay attention to what your heart says. Now don't pay attention to what your stupid heart says, Pay attention to what your realistic part of your heart says. If your heart says, hey, this is a bad idea. This person is not, I'm dying with this person. I'm not growing with this person. I can't see myself being anywhere successful with this type of relationship. If there's lots of aggression and screaming and fighting and all kinds of negative things coming out of this relationship, then it probably needs to be stepped away from. That's not to say that you couldn't go back to it someday. Then, you know, after you guys heal or work the things out or whatever, that's definitely a possibility. But what you need to realize is maybe the way it's going is really negative. You may walk away forever and never go back, and that's perfectly fine. Walking away from a relationship, a marriage, whatever, I'm not recommending that necessarily, but I am recommending that if you have major issues and they're red flags and you are having second thoughts about this, either you need to talk to your partner immediately and you need to get this figured out, because I promise you, if even a month goes by after you saw that red flag, you have literally to that person accepted what they have done. When you see a red flag, you bring it up immediately. Immediately. You don't wait 10 minutes, you don't wait an hour, you don't wait anything. You say, hey, I'm not okay with what you just did. I will not stand for this type of thing in the relationship. And you say, either we're going to fix it now or I'm moving on. And I say that because they need to know that you're serious. Because if you skip one red flag, you skip 2 red flags, you skip 5, 10 red flags, pretty soon you're literally under the control of that person. That person has a relationship. You don't. You are literally just living through that person's every single demand. Okay? And I'm not saying I have not been in toxic relationships, because I have. That's part of why I recognize these things. Yes, I know that's kind of weird. I have the tin foil there on my windows to keep the heat out during the day. But it's important that you know that you are so valuable. A lot of the times we will get in the situation mentally and we'll think, and sometimes the partner will be the culprit of saying this, nobody loves you, nobody's going to care about you as much as I do, nobody thinks you're attractive, nobody finds you good looking, nobody can love you like I will, you're ugly, you're horrible. And I promise you, I've heard these things. And here's the reality. Somebody else already thinks you're attractive. Maybe 2, 3 people, maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe 100. But somebody already finds you attractive. Probably somebody that you associate with on a daily basis. Whether it's your characteristics, whether it's your suave or whatever it is, but you have to realize that there's probably already a few people that find you pretty attractive. So when somebody tells you that you are not attractive, the first thing you should do is leave. Because you have to have enough self-preservation of your own heart, your mind, and your soul to be able to know that you are. And yeah, maybe all of us aren't freaking beauty queens, whatever. I know, I get it. I'm not stupid. I'm not ignorant. I understand that. But no matter what you look like or who you are, there's always somebody out there that will love you. And if not, if there wasn't, if by chance there was not, which there is, then I promise you, being by yourself and being able to practice self-love and loving yourself is much better than somebody doing the complete opposite and hurting you and hating you and damaging your soul. So, the important thing that you realize is there's always somebody out there for everybody. It's not necessarily about leaving a relationship and jumping into another one, because that's the worst thing you want to do. Rebounds are bad, okay? But what you have to realize is if a person's telling you that you're trash, you're garbage, you're whatever, First of all, that's a big, huge red flag. Second of all, it's not true. It's definitely not true. And I know sometimes it can be really hard to leave a relationship. You might have kids involved, you might have property involved, the house, the cars, the stuff. First of all, if you don't have kids tying you together, get the hell out. Go. Just don't worry about your shit. Just go. If it's a damaging or bad relationship, or hopefully not, but if it's a physical abusive relationship or emotionally abusive, get out. Just go. Just get out and start a new life. Don't worry about your stuff. Don't worry about any of that. Because your stuff means nothing. Your heart means everything. I want you to know how spectacularly amazing you are as a person. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be honored. You deserve a happy, fulfilling, growthful relationship. And if you're not in something like that right now, yes, you can work on it, you can repair it. I promise you, if you're in a long-term relationship, it will have its ups and downs. You'll fall in and out of love with that person. It's just natural. But I will say, don't waste your entire life on something that is full of negativity. If you have hopes, you have dreams, and the other person is smashing all of them on every single aspect, then you probably are dying together. You're not growing together. And it's important that if you have hopes and dreams, you chase them. And if this person does not accept those things, and obviously there can be some type of a meeting in the middle or whatever. But if that person doesn't let you do that and chase your dreams and stuff, or if you feel that you can't because of the relationship, then you sever it, say goodbye, and have a beautiful day. And just remember that you absolutely are a person worthy of a beautiful life, regardless if it's with or without somebody, with or without that person. You guys, I hope you learned a little bit. If you guys want me to touch base on anything in the future, please let me know. My name is Jonathan. I am with One Big Impact. That's my YouTube channel. If you're looking to grow, whether it's you want to lose weight, you want to spread more love, less hate, please check us out on our Facebook group. It's Healthy Living for a Healthy Life. I'll be doing a series of relationship videos over time. I don't know how often they're going to come, but I think it's important because I personally want to grow through them. I want to be the best partner I could be in a relationship, and I feel I have a lot of work to do on myself. So I will definitely touch base more often on this. But if there's something specifically that you want me to talk about, please put it in the comment section below. Have a beautiful day, and remember to spread love, not hate. Peace, guys.